We're here at Murrayfield. It's the Scottish Club Rugby Awards, and nothing gives me more pleasure than to say congratulations to Jammy McFarlane for winning Scottish Club Coach of the Year. Well done.
Thanks very much, Stuart. It's a nice thing to get. It's a nice accolade for me personally, but more importantly, I think it's for my team. It's for Davy Grant. It's for the other fellas that help on the rugby side of things at the YM, Doug Waldy, Rob Hill, Dan Deans, Lindsay Nish. Without them, I can't do this on my own. Apart from us, we've obviously got the players. The players are such an important part of it, the most important part of it, and we're so lucky that we've been able to create an environment that the players are enjoying, they're thriving on it, and they're developing, moving on and playing some winning rugby. So we thank the players.
But this is typical of you, Jammy, isn't it? Always deflecting the fame and sort of giving everyone else credit. Time you got some credit.
I don't know about that, Stuart. It's not about me. I don't do it for me. I think the pleasure I get is seeing my players develop and being better when I finish playing, working with them is what I found them. The team moving on, developing, winning things, the smiles on the faces. There was an interesting thing in the auditorium earlier that when Bishopton won the Volunteer of the Year, I think there was a fantastic atmosphere about the place. Bishopton's a pretty small West of Scotland club that have got no delusions of grandeur about winning big tournaments, big trophies or playing the high leagues. And their Volunteer of the Year pretty much nailed it with his ethos and his spirit that is pretty much a good thing for everyone in Scottish rugby to have a look at and try and emulate, I would say. We're a small part of the food chain. We've got to try and create our environments to help players especially move on, improve, develop and go on to the next level and encourage them to do the best that they can for themselves. And that quite often means that you lose players, they move on to another level, and that's great. We want to see that. I want to switch my television on and see Scott McLeod or Nicky Walker or Lee Jones, Stuart Hogg, all these fellas that I've worked with in the past, and I love turning that TV on and watching the blokes on TV.
And there's a real effort, isn't there, being made at grassroots level as well. I mean, there's so many volunteers who are doing some wonderful things that we don't hear about.
Yeah, I think the professional game is obviously the top end of the game, and it gets the high profile. These people are paid, it's what they do, it's a profession. But at our level, there's thousands of people in this country give up their time for nothing. They sacrifice lots to be involved at their club, regardless of what capacity. And I think they're all an absolute credit to themselves and the game. And I think the game in Scotland should be appreciative of their efforts.
Now, you're not the only Borders winner tonight, and you're not the only Hoyk YM winner either, because young Rory Scott is over sunning himself at Benidorm and having goodness knows what sort of times over with the Hoyk boys, having a great time over there. He's won the National League Player of the Season, and that's something which, again, will make you tremendously proud.
Yeah, I'm thrilled for Rory. Unfortunately, he can't be here tonight, but Rory's had a great season. Rory's came at the beginning of the season, having endured 2 or 3 years of a couple of really horrendous injuries. So he's got back into playing. He was a Scottish age grade international three-quarter. When he came back at the start of the season, after we had the chat about the possibility of playing at YM, he dropped the bombshell. He wanted to play in the back row. I've supported that, and we've worked as hard as we can to support him with the move of position. And he's been an absolute revelation this season. And I think Rory's one of these lads that, when he puts his mind to it, there's nothing that Rory probably can't do, because he's got a work ethic, he's got a maturity for such a young fella, and he's pretty well driven, and he's got enormous talent as well. So those sort of ingredients with players tend to make them do well. I'm sure Rory can move on and do much better than where he is right now.
And what a couple of years it's been for Hoyk YM for the club as well. You mentioned Rory, of course, and Matt Douglas going to Newcastle Falcons Academy, tremendous achievement. Stuart Hogg, who was playing for Hoyk YM not that long ago, now turning out for Scotland over on the other side of the world at the moment. I mean, this is just fantastic.
Yeah, it is. I think with Stuart was actually an off-the-cuff arrangement on a Sunday morning for Berwick Sevens that I got the opportunity to use Stuart in the absence of anyone else to go to Berwick. And Stuart came along enthusiastic. I think he played the first tie. We won at Berwick that day, and Stuart scored 3 or 4 tries. Done really well. We lost the second tie, and the Hoyt club picked him up immediately because they hadn't obviously seen him play adult rugby. And he's had a half season, 3/4 season at Hoyt, and he's moved on and did really well in the professional environment. and we're all thrilled to bits in his Six Nations performances for his country. With young Matthew, quite a different tale with Matthew. We had a plan when he got discarded from the elite performance group with the SRU. Someone came to me within that group that was involved with that group and asked me if I'd take him for pre-season, try and help with his fitness. He was having problems with his weight fluctuating, which 16-year-olds actually often do. So it wasn't anything to do with the rugby really at all. So we took him on board and he did a good pre-season. And after the pre-season, we started looking at playing him in a couple of games, and we introduced him to adult rugby. We played him a couple of games. Matthew done real well, took very well there at fullback, and the thing just went on and on. It grew arms and legs, as somebody else would say, and he's played pretty much the whole of the season. And Matthew's been a fantastic young lad for us. The older fellas have enjoyed having him. He's enjoyed going through the maturity from boy to man, if you like, in that environment. He's done real well. Newcastle Falcons have picked up, and hopefully, if he works hard enough, Newcastle and him will both get the benefit.
So what about Hoyt YM for the future now? You've had 2 tremendous years. I mean, we can't possibly surely expect to go up another level, but you're in the top 40, and it's going to be very, very different.
Yeah, I think the higher you go, Stuart, the less number of players you can go and call on to be influential at that level. So we've got a bit of work to do over the summer to try and recruit smart. We've got to speak to the lads that are here currently and see what their plans are, because we've never really looked beyond the 2 years that we've currently had. So we've got a lot of work to do. Dave and I will do a lot over the next few weeks to address next season with the current squad and with potential people that we can go and speak to, invite to play at a higher level again. And one thing about moving up another league, we get the opportunity to tap different people that may not be prepared to play in National 1, but they might just fancy this new challenge in Championship East.
Well, it's all exciting times ahead, that's for sure. And once again, tremendous congratulations to you for the Scottish title Club Coach of the Year. It's great.
Thanks very much, Stuart. It's getting a bit ring to it now, eh? I feel like the cornet.
Michael, congratulations first of all on Premier 2 Player of the Year.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic achievement, and of course a 1-2 for Jed as well. Darren Gillespie winning it last year, so things going well down there.
I think it's going superb down there now. Don thoroughly deserved it last year, and I'm absolutely chuffed to bits to get this year.
And you've come up under the radar a wee bit, haven't you? Because everyone's been talking about the young twins, obviously, and Darren Gillespie and this, that and the other, and you've been gradually getting on with your work and doing some good work as well, and it's been noticed.
Well, I done the twins, Andrew Nichols out of South Africa with the Scottish under-20s, are cracking players, so I don't mind coming under the radar to such high classes as them boys, but I'm slowly egging my way back into the side, and so I'm absolutely delighted.
And it's been a great season for Jed as well, winning Premier 2, of course, which is fantastic, and Kings of the Sevens, which you were involved in, of course, as well.
Yes, being involved in the Kings is absolutely superb. With a group of lads who only has 14 players with the whole tournaments, and being involved is superb. We were all great pals at Jed, we all hung out together outside the rugby field, so winning it with your pals is even more special.
And you certainly had a good night after the Jed Forest Sevens. It was all wrapped up, and you could go away with that trophy that everyone wanted.
Well, this is it. Gone wrapping up before Jed, it taking the pressure off us. Unfortunately, I was injured for Jed, so I wasn't playing, which is a big disappointment for myself. But the lads didn't know too bad at Jed. The pressure was off and wrapping up in Selkirk, so it was good.
So when did you hear about the award?
I got phoned a fortnight last Thursday morning about the award. The SRU phoned us up saying I'd won it, which absolutely delighted with it, and my pals are absolutely delighted for us.
And of course it's all about kicking on from here now.
Well, this is it. Next season, if we can keep our players, which touch wood, we'll keep most of our players, and next season we'll push on. And we had a reasonably 15 season. We won Prem 2, had a poor border league, but hopefully next season we can push on and keep the coaches and push on a bit.
And a good thing, of course, is Jed Thistle. There's always people coming through underneath and up into the first 15, and that's great.
It is the young boys. We need them boys coming up. The Thistle have had an average season themselves, and the boys are coming up, and hopefully, like Glenn Young, he played in the last 2 sevens tournament. Hopefully he'll have a few seasons with Jed, and hopefully the young boys will come up and do us proud and all. So.
And when does the new season start again? Do you have a little break?
Well,
you're going to get married, aren't you, of course?
I am. I'm getting married on the 4th of August, so The new wife tells us I'm not allowed to play rugby up until the wedding, just in case of facial injuries for the photos. But no, after the wedding, I'll concentrate on the rugby season again and hopefully push on for promotion. Hopefully.
And of course, you're being sensible about it by actually getting married in August. I can't believe the amount of rugby players this season or last season that got married in the middle of the season. What's that all about?
Oh, God knows.
Just a little bit of simple planning, isn't it?
This is it. She knows that I've played rugby since I was knee high, and rugby's a great part of my life, an important part of my life. Rugby, I've played it for years, and she knew that even all my pals are all rugby players, so she knew even the guest list would consist of a lot of rugby players, so I couldn't date in the season, so decided to date before pre-season started. So.
What about the stag night? I'm sure they've got a few things lined up for you.
I'm sure they have. We're actually going to Hexham Racecourse for a stag night in a couple of weeks. So
end up in a stable?
Quite possible. God knows what I'll end up as, but hopefully I'll make it home in one piece.
Absolutely. Well, just finally, obviously, this is a fantastic thing, the RBS Premier 2 Player of the Season, and as we mentioned before, you can now move on and forward. I mean, what sort of ambitions do you have as a player?
I would like to take a step further, but I'm quite happy at Jed. I know I'm not the biggest of fellas, so to take that next step, you need to grow up our body strength and be noticed round about the border circuit and all that. So I'm quite happy at Jed, and if other teams are interested, consider. But Jed's where I love playing rugby for Jed. I love the players, I love the coaches, the committee. So we'll just leave it at that. So.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.